Thank you, Dapoo.
All right.
All right. Well, good morning, everyone. My name is Oladapo Olayinka Daniel Kalajaye Orimade. I know, blaming on my parents, That's how they do it. Anyways, like Marco said, my name is Dapo. I go by Dapo. You can call me D-A-P-O-O, as long as it's clean, right? Nothing that could be problematic. All right, so I'm the co-founder of Anchorus. Co-founder meaning my wife and I built Anchorus. So what does that mean? It means my co-founder, QA tester, greatest critic, and favorite user all live in the same house, right? Efficient, but could be dangerous sometimes. All right, we have a 2-month-old, so she's not here. My sister is here to make sure I do right so she can give her the information when she gets home. All right, so the question for today is, who woke up thinking, I've been too connected lately, you know? I need to try to tone it down, maybe disconnect with my wife. Whenever she messages me, I'm just not going to respond. Try to get that roommate energy. Show of hands. Don't be shy. Well, no one should, right, generally, because what we're trying to do is get more connected with relationship, right? But the problem is life. Life just gets a hold of us, right? You start with work, getting busy. I'm sure a lot of you here have said, oh, just one more hour. Then 5 hours later, you're still on the computer, right? Because life is busy. Then kids, they think they're the center of the Milky Way, right? So everything is about them. They want your time. They want things. We have 3 now, like I said, 2 months old. So I understand that need. But sometimes you even make it work where you're sitting next to your spouse and then the endless scrolling begins, right? 1, 2, 3. 3 hours later, you're both on the phone sitting next to each other. You don't have that connection going on. And most people I talk to would say, oh, relationship is what's the most important thing to me. But somehow that us becomes secondary, right? So remember I said that us needs to be anchored, which is why we built Anchor Us. You get it, right? I normally would say if you don't get it, forget about it. But this time around, I need you to get it. Right? So pretty much the concept based on some research and us as couple as well, realized that the ordinary moments are really major, right? Of course, they're the anniversaries, you go on your knees, you sing the love song and all those things. But pretty much those moments that are ordinary are what makes the marriage, what makes the relationship. So we designed it with the concept of small moments in mind. How can we make these things work? Right, so someone once said, some of you need to touch your spouse more than you touch your phone. And I thought to myself, truer words have never been spoken, right? Because somehow technology has become part of our lives. And yes, I would say the war against technology is a lost cause, right? You can't just say, oh, don't touch your phone anymore. So we decided to use the phone to help with the real relationship, right? So you have the phone, you have the prompts that bring you to real life. So I give you an example of one of the suggestions we would have here, just to show you what it would suggest for the day, right? But the idea primarily is bringing you together in a shared awareness. So what that looks like in the app generally is 2 spouses connect, right? So my wife and I connect on our phone, download Anchorus, connect. It's gonna give us some shared awareness. We can say, oh, how am I feeling today? Like daily show up, like signals. And based on what I say or what she says, the phone would give suggestions, would help you guys through the day, right? So we try to focus on the 3 things, which are notice each other, connect with each other, and grow, right? So there are quite a couple of features there, but I highlighted the 2 that I like. Gratitude jar will be one of my favorites. And the gratitude jar is pretty much like saying you have a jar and you write something, right? You put it in the jar. And what I like about it is I write what I'm grateful for my spouse, my wife, and then she does the same about me on her app, right? And then I can draw what she said, and she can draw from what I said, all right? So I could write something like today, thank you for not showing up in 1 million cups so that I don't freak out, right? Something like that. But I would say the other day I got out of work, it was like 10:30 p.m. I teach at the college. And I came out and I was like, exhausted. And I drew something from the app, the gratitude jar. And what it said made me feel like someone just paid off my mortgage, right? My mortgage wasn't paid off, but I drove home feeling happy, right? So it reminded me of it. And the second option is like the gentle nudge. You get like gentle reminders to connect, or gentle nudges. And the one I got the other day was like, go hug your wife for 10 seconds. right? So I'm in the middle of work, says, oh, I can do that. So I go to hug her. The first few seconds, she's like, oh, and then, oh, is everything okay, right? But the outcome was still there, which is like, I stopped in the middle of the day, connected with my wife, and she was on my mind all through it, right? Which is what we're trying to get to, which is making everyone connected. So where are we today? We launched about 3 weeks ago. We have like 80 users so far, 14 linked couples. And we did run a cohort with like 30 couples before we launched, before we fully designed it, but we still refining, like be it the onboarding, the emotional messaging, making sure, it can reach people as we want. All right, so we're pretty early and learning fast. So I know the question usually is, how can you help me, right? So I will start with Marcus said, excuse me, that it's a dolphin tank. You guys don't have to be harsh and things like that, Just saying. But in reality, I joke about it. You can be harsh all you want, right? I always say when I came to the US from Nigeria, people always said I had a thick accent. So guess what? I developed a thick skin, right? So bring it on, I can handle it. All right, so of course, our goal is hopefully just like 1 million cups, 1 million coffee, you connect network. We're hoping we end up with like 1 million couples staying connected with Anchor Us. All right, so what we need, users. If you're ever into a relationship, please download it. If you know people who are couples that might benefit from it, download it, use it, and give us feedbacks. And then, of course, introductions, right? If you do know, like couple-focused communities, marriage ministries, pastors, people that could use this. Try to connect us with them. And of course, finally, feedbacks like you guys will give me today. Whatever strategies come to mind, partnership, local launch, and guidance, we definitely appreciate it. All right, I think that's my time. Thanks for listening, and thanks for laughing at my joke. All right.
Just as a quick reminder, as we enter Q&A, we're doing a little bit of an experiment here with relaunching our YouTube channel. So when you do have a question or a comment for Dapoo, please stand up so that the cameras can see you asking the question. Okay, thank you guys.
Yes, sir.
So you're a very intriguing presenter.
Thank you.
I can't imagine anyone not gravitating toward you. Talk to us about what the business proposition is.
So from the business perspective for me, right? So the structure of Anchor Us has a free version and a premium version, which I assume that's what you're asking. So the main value is with the couples connecting, but user can use it as an individual. So you would have the retro screen, the couple screen, the progress screen. And a retro screen is just the free user who can just check individually. Now for couples who are connected and want to stay connected, that's where the charge comes in. It's about $89 a year or $9.99 per month, right? So the premium version is where the cost comes in. Was that your question?
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Yes, sir.
As far as like features go on the app, I use some of these apps for various reasons, but one of the things that helped me are like a progress bar or like a graph that shows like your connection over time.
Correct.
Do you have like a feature in?
Yes, I do. And I know I didn't want to like bug you guys with features today because I wanted you guys to hear my African accent. But let's see if I can just pull. I had a simulator right here. You guys can see. So this would be like a progress screen, which shows like the dots. Depending on the circle, will tell you whether you alone showed up for the day or but you and your spouse shows up. And it would show you something along the side of, see, like it becomes more intelligent the more you use it. So it tells you what you've been using, what's present, if you guys haven't been showing up. So it tries to like understand what's going on. And you can write notes just to say, hey, this is what we're doing. But going back to your question, it's like it can give you that graph to give you an idea. So the goal though, it's funny, I think we were having a conversation last week, is also to make it not streaky, right? It's not like, oh, I'm doing better than my wife, right? Because that defeats the whole purpose, right? So we try to make sure whatever chart we're seeing here is the same with your spouse, right? So let's say I do something today, but she didn't track that she did something. It counts for both of us, right? So it's going to show good for both of us. So we're in this together. Good? All right. All right, you guys ignore the codes behind. Yes, sir.
Stand up.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you can sit down.
I mean, I'm gonna block the whole thing. Okay. So is the idea that you're building EQ, like relationship EQ, over a certain period of time? Are you saying that within 12 months you're gonna have this impact, or is the idea that you keep your users forever? We kind of like, are we reliant upon this forever? Or are you teaching us skills so that within a year or 6 months we've learned what we need to do, and now we don't need the device anymore because we've learned what we need to do?
Yeah. That's a tough one because personally, as a business owner, I want you to be on it forever, right? But I was talking to a friend about this, and I said, we've had enough of being on the phone, right? So the intention is the app would always be there, right? So I wouldn't say in 12 months you stop using it because you would always have some use cases. I didn't even highlight some of the features like connection cards, right? Which we use like on Friday nights. It gives you questions that we keep adding to that are good for conversation starters, right? So it's just like buying standard connection cards. And then you have things like playful interactions that are like games that both of you can play on a daily basis. And other things like the gratitude jar. So all to say, technically, I would say forever, but your relationship should be good without it after you've done it for about a year, I would say.
Yeah. So is that something that you could use in your marketing, like, better relationship after some period of time?
I'm hoping so, but part of it is also, like I said, we just launched 3 weeks ago.
You need the data.
I need the data. I don't want to say that, and then 12 months later, you're like, you lied to me, right? So pretty much, but yes. Sorry, Tim had this hand up.
Yes. Are you looking at a partnership network where, like for date nights, where people can plug in and get discounts to restaurants, shows, babysitters, things like that, so then people can literally block that time and have everything ready to go out on a date night?
That's a good idea I had not thought about. Mostly what I thought about was the private portion of it, like just because I know a friend of mine was like, oh, can I find other couples on your app? I was like, no, the us is just 2 of us, right? But yes, but those are good ideas. We even thought about like plugging in the therapy portion of it because we say Anchors is not therapy, right? It's supposed to be your day-to-day. It's not I need help. Like if you do, you can use it as well. So we're trying to see maybe in case of someone who needs repair, we can plug that in. But for now, we haven't. But that's it. Something I'll put down for sure. Sorry, 1 second. She had her hand up.
That was kind of my, I guess, feedback of expanding was the counseling option, right? If you partner with like counselors because I know my husband is not one that wants to ever go to a counseling, but maybe if it was a virtual option, right? And then also potentially, because you said the free version is only for a single user.
Yes. So whenever you download, it gives you like a 7-day premium version after which you have to pay for it. But the single version allows you to do things by yourself, but it's almost like it makes it manual. Like it still shows you the track and all the stuff.
Maybe like offering a like less options version for free for like a trial period for couples so they can also like see how it goes or how they use it, and then it's like you use it for a week or however long with less features, and then it's like, okay, now we want to unlock more, so now you have to pay for it.
Okay, so I want to make sure I get that because what we have right now is once you download it and you connect, you get the full premium version for 7 days. And after the 7 days, it stops the premium version and you go to the free less version of it. So you already know what premium is like, and then you can go back to it. So was that along what you were saying, or are you saying the reverse of it?
I guess I wasn't understanding because I thought you said something about like a single versus the couple.
Right, so when I use the word single, it's just based on the screen. Like there's a ritual screen, which is your day-to-day use, then the couple screen where it connects you, right? So what I meant is like within that couple screen is where you connect, but all the features there go away without the premium. So, good? All right, yes, sir.
Yeah, so kind of, there was just touching on this. So this is therapy. It's kind of maintenance, and part of the app is offer suggestions, how your wife leaves a note. Where are these suggestions coming from? Are they coming from resources that are backed by science, psychologists, therapists? Are they
suggestions or thoughts just from, you know, you and your wife or your friends or your couples or things like, but just like, yeah, where are these ideas coming from? And that way, like, your users can actually trust that, okay, this has been a tried true method, things like that.
Good question. And I wish I could say I looked to the heavens and it came down, but no, I mostly looked at ChatGPT. But anyways, the point I'm trying to make is like I do research. I'm like into like I teach at the college. I do the sciences. However, that being said, too, like I do use tools like ChatGPT to collect information. I get feedback from people as well. And if one of the things I pointed out is like the emotional lingo, changing it accordingly. For starters, I'm a test sample, right? I'm married and I see how this makes me feel for the day. If it's one of those, it didn't hit the point. Because I've had some notifications where it's like, oh, you can hold the moment for today. I'm like, what am I holding? That's not doing anything, right? So to some extent, like it's a combination of things, but it's still in the works, right? It would research and try to see, but I can't strictly tell you for sure now that, oh, I'm working with a research scientist to get this. That would not be the case. Good?
You integrated something like the love languages test.
Yeah, so that's another interesting part. Like, so I did initially was thinking along that side. In fact, I spoke with what's his name? I forgot the author of the love language about a bit. I do have the concept in there, right? But I think at this point, people get the love language, but I want you to feel the love language, right? So it's not like I'm stating it. So it's kind of, the app is built towards some subtle emotion. So quick feature I have is if you get to the ritual screen, you have the button, a big button that's pulsating, and you guys can put a picture of what you're returning to there. Now, what people would not notice is the less you use it, the dimmer it gets, right? So it's like, this is what we're getting to, and the more you use it, the brighter it gets, right? So little things that people would not see intentionally, but it should work in the behavior. Cycle, yes, sir. And Tim, I know you had a question, sorry.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Keep going. Okay. Going off Marco's point, kind of synthesizing a little bit of the conversation here around marketing. I wonder if you know, you might look into like some of John Gottman's work on relationships, and he's got a lot of science and empirical research that backs up a lot of strategies. And so instead of getting the data from your users initially, maybe you can rely on some of these like well-established like frameworks to like bring some support or like backing to what you're doing. In addition to the ChatGPT, use ChatGPT, but also like look into the specific like references that ChatGPT uses, and then maybe even use emphasize a little bit more of like John Gottman's work and that kind of thing.
Since you have my number, please text that.
Absolutely, will do.
Appreciate that. Tim?
Yeah, so on your competition, like one, have you done competitive research landscape? And then two, like the other thing I'm thinking about is like when you think of like eHarmonies that they focus on pairing people, I don't know if they have things after this, after they pair the couples, but are you looking at like what's your exit? Is it to just keep growing this, or is it to target one of these big companies and be like, hey, after you network or after you match them, why don't you guys buy me out so that you can sustain them long term?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, that's something that's always in the play. Like I said, we're still in that very early phase, and doesn't mean I don't have to think of an exit plan right now. The bigger picture in my mind, I'm thinking Anchors becomes a brand for relationship. When I say relationship, like parent-kids relationship, right? Things like that, expanding between friends. So I feel like I haven't really gotten anywhere close to what my dream is to think of an exit, right? So I feel like, and we're still in the early phase, and you know this better too, where I don't know how much pivoting we're gonna do, so I can't say for sure that this is our end goal. Like, and that's why I would say I don't have a definite answer for that. But yes, it's in the back of my mind for sure. Yes, sir.
Have you talked to or partnered with insurance companies about doing something like this? Because I know insurances have expanded in offering gym memberships, counseling, like she said, and that could be a way that PPIC becomes more available to people using their insurance company.
I've never thought about that. Can you please write that down? Yes. Yes, but thank you. Yes, sir.
Mine's kind of a three-part that goes into one. One, have you ever heard of Finch?
Sounds familiar.
Kind of like a Tamagotchi, but you use it for relationships with, a partner or even like friends. So you kind of live in this virtual world of you get items for your little finch, your little bird. The more that you complete goals that you have committed to with each other, or let's say we're doing an accountability group, and I'm like, I didn't work out today, but you did, and you do it, and then I didn't. And I'm like, you know what? They did. It shows me they did. Okay, I'm gonna work out. It's like an accountability app.
Correct.
It does pose an interesting question though. With this being a couples thing, have you thought of it being a relationship app in general, where you can have like accountability groups like we're friends? So Anchor could quite literally be the anchor of all relationships, not just romantic ones, right?
Sure.
Because now you're missing not only one person's use case, right? But like they have a partner or maybe even two. They have many other relationships they could be using this on, which connects a lot more users over time. And it goes past, hey, I want to fix my relationship in 12 months. It's more of a game now, right? You're kind of gamifying relationships. The other thing was to your point with, using LLMs. Have y'all ever thought about training and making your own LLM locally on a server and then training that on, like you said, credible sources right now until you get more user data? So that way, it's not getting fed, dirty information a lot, right? Because it's all it is doing is it's just going out and it's just researching, just like you would. So there's a example of a group of people that actually started posting fake articles about a boss in a game, and then they asked chat after a few months. They asked chat, "Hey, how do you meet this boss?" And that boss never existed in the game, but it was like, "Hey, this doesn't exist." And it's like, "No, actually, it does." And they're like, "Yeah, we made it up." And so like they were like doing it to prove like chat only knows what it knows and it doesn't know what it doesn't know.
Correct.
And so if you give it a pool of data to go off of first, and it's restricted to that, it might be better when you start getting the user data to start solving some of those problems.
Correct.
And then to your question, also look at companies. I know Lockheed has a program where they offer like you were saying, like gym memberships and all that stuff. It might be through their insurance or so that's something like, even if you're working with an insurance company, you could also work directly with companies and be like, hey, look, you can add this on to it. And then they can then connect you with those insurance companies if like you're having a hard time getting in contact there.
Gotcha.
That way you get like kind of like an intro, so to speak.
Okay. All right. Now that you've tested my memory, let's work that backwards. But yes, I do think like insurance, those are ideas I haven't thought about before, and I would definitely try to like connect into. So definitely would look into that. Now regarding the LLM, definitely agree with the idea. I wanted to clarify a little bit on that as well. Right now, what I have is an engine that pretty much, so I'm not pulling any new data. Like, so it's not like, I don't want a case where you wake up and it's like, oh, you need to go to Africa, right? Anything like that, I need to know what all is going in there. I know it's a lot of work for me, but currently what I have is a pool of notifications, right? So I build the pool, so I'm going through, I know generally what's going in there, and I just build the engine to understand your usage to put it to you, right? So it's not the same, it's not the full LLM like you would think of, but it's just like a pseudo. That way I'm not having any surprise come into it. Well, yeah, so, and then going back to the first question, in a way, yes, I want to extend into like other relationships, but the key for me right now is the us, right? And I do agree in terms of the business aspect of it, there's room for it. But outside of the business, I am also particular about marriages, partly because I have friends that have divorced in the last few years. Like I have a couple of them. And part of this is from that, right? Because I see that, little things happen. Some problems sometimes is the friend of the friend, right? So I'm not trying to bring that friend of the friend into the us, right, at this point. So I'm trying to keep it the us for now, right? And then hopefully with enough data, we can look into things like that. So, but also the portion of the gamification, we do have that. And even I have what we'll call the connection, what you agree to. Like you agree to do something, let's say at the end of this, and the app will remind you, oh, you've done this too. So there are snippets of that all around the app, but the goal once again is to, going back to Marcus' question, not make you dependent on an app. It's a tool, but at the end of the day, it's for you guys to be connected. So
that's your story.
that's my story.
That's why I was asking that question, because I was like, I see where you're going with it, and it's a very I don't want you to be dependent on this app is a very strong statement for a business.
Correct.
Because that shows that you're putting people first.
Yes.
That resonates so much, especially in the beginning of a pitch.
Right.
It's just here's why we're doing it. Here's what I saw. My friends were getting divorced. And I just thought to myself, why, how could I help that? Is there anything I could have made that could have prevented that?
Guys, we need to wrap up. Yeah. So let's big round of applause, please, to Dapoo. The question that we always ask is, what can we, the 1 Million Cups community, do for you?
Start up by downloading Anchors. I'm hoping by the time I get home, I'm like, oh, they all downloaded it, right? So I'm hoping that, but I'm also hoping once again to share with other people, right? I'm trying to make sure, I know I want to do the whole marketing portion of it, but I want to be able to see faces, tell them about this. And once again, I already got the feedback, so 1 Million Cups is already doing what I came here for, right? So, and just get me connected. That's pretty much it.
Great. Okay. Will you be able to hang around after the session?
Oh, definitely.
You have other questions?
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah. Thank you.
We'll look for them afterwards.
Appreciate it.
Thanks again. Okay.